Good evening and welcome. I would like to open the public portion of the March 27th, 2024 Richfield Park Board of Education meeting. The time is now 8:02. Let's begin with a salute to the flag. May I please have a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Cooney. Present. Ms. Kraft. Absent. Mr. Phytros.
Present.
Ms. McNeil.
Present.
Mr. Malul.
Here.
Ms. Rodriguez. Absent. Ms. Schmidt.
Here.
Ms. Velez.
Present.
Ms. Orth.
Present.
President Martinez.
Present, and we have quorum. Mr. Bicek, could you please read the Open Public Meetings Act?
Yes, and the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Richfield Park Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, place, therefore posted in the Bergen Record, Star Ledger, Municipal Building, Board of Education offices, and the district website. Under participation, public participation will be conducted both in person and virtually through Zoom. All public will be muted throughout the meeting. Public participation comments are limited to 5 minutes. The public will be able to both speak and be seen by the board when participating virtually or telephonically via Zoom. Individuals participating virtually that wish to make comments during the public participation will need to raise their hand by clicking the blue icon at the bottom of their Zoom window. Individuals participating by telephone that wish to make comments during the public participation would need to hit *9 on a telephone to raise their hand. The business administrator, board secretary will unmute individuals one at a time to speak in order that their hand was raised.
Thank you, Mr. Malul, would you please move the January 17th, 2024 minutes?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of January 2024.
Second.
Roll call, sorry.
Mr. Cooney.
Yes.
Ms. Kraft. Mr. Phytros.
Yes.
Ms. McNeil.
Yes.
Mr. Malul.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez. Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Ms. Velez.
Yes.
Ms. Orth.
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, the resolution passes. We'll move on to communications from the public. I had one email from a grant school parent about a matter that was discussed at length with the entire board and with the superintendent. We had no other communications from the public. We will now move on to committee reports. Buildings and Grounds, Trustee Cooney.
Give me 1 second, please. Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Excuse me. B&G committee met on March 18th. Those in attendance, Dr. Vespignani, Superintendent of Schools, Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Triglia, Business Administrator, Mr. Beisig, District's Operations Manager, Mr. Igu, myself, Dr. Martinez, Trustee McNeil, I was absent, I'm sorry, and Trustee Schmidt. Agenda items we discussed, we talked about a letter of intent, possibility about looking to move central office, looking at a decrease in the lease, trying to maximize our money. We have the looking to see if the landlord will provide free signage on the outdoor monument, which is typically a cost. Dr. Vespignani reviewed the latest lease agreement and looked at the recent cost reductions with ongoing negotiations. We looked at our phase one for our technology infrastructure upgrade, which was in discussion. We had the junior senior high school academic wing HVAC update. We also talked about the gym sound baffles update, Roosevelt School emergency partial roof damage and repair, junior senior high school partial roof repair, proposed junior senior high school hallway floor replacement project, proposed Roosevelt Lincoln and Grand Schools classroom floor replacement project, installing air conditioning units in rooms and spaces that serve as offices and IDF rooms. We also, Mr. Eagle, Mr. Bisick also reviewed the ongoing items that need to be addressed within the buildings so that we can remain compliant and ensure that we are following through with safety protocols. In addition, the infrastructure needed repairs have what were also discussed. Meeting adjourned at 5:35. It was rather quick, but we got a lot accomplished, and that concludes the Building and Grounds meeting.
Thank you, Trustee Cooney. Policy, Trustee Orth?
Sorry, the committee met on March 19th, 7 p.m. Present were Dr. Vespignani, Ms. Triglia, Dr. Martinez, myself, and Trustee Schmidt. The committee had a lengthy discussion on policy 511 in order to arrive at a consensus. However, the recommendation was pulled from the agenda as the state has made, is making updates to their guidelines on this policy. We discussed all the policies that are being presented for first reading tonight. The committee also began the process of reviewing our bylaws, which is one of our board goals. This process will continue at our next meeting, and we'll present any recommendations to the full board in May or June.
Thank you, Trustee Orth. Home to School Connection and Social Justice, Trustee Schmidt.
The Social Justice Committee met on March 7th at 10:45 a.m. Present was myself, Dr. V, Ms. Triglia, Dr. Ferraro, Ms. Susana Rodriguez, Trustee Rodriguez, and Trustee Velez. This meeting centered around social justice, specifically acclimation of our multilingual students in the school and community. Feedback from our multilingual learners expressed the need to provide a comprehensive welcome packet for new families and a mentorship program for new students and families to help them navigate the school system. A survey has been administered to district staff to gauge staff knowledge in other languages. County resources that offer ESL support and classes were shared with the committee. There are also ESL kits provided by the Richfield Park Public Library. That concludes the social justice report.
Thank you. Are you also doing Home to School Connection? Okay.
The ad hoc committee met previously, February 28th at 12 p.m. Present was myself, Dr. V, Ms. Triglia, Ms. Costello, Director of Early Childhood Education, and Trustee Velez. Ms. Costello provided an update on progress being made with curriculum and instruction for pre-K. An in-class support coach has visited classes and provided feedback, and the staff has expressed their needs for professional development and curriculum support. Health screenings of pre-K students have been occurring, and developmental screenings will also be taking place. An interest survey was sent to parents in the beginning of March to determine interest in enrollment and gauge how many families will need to be serviced, whether new or continuing in the program. The survey is accessible from the district homepage. The pre-K director has also engaged the community and the necessary steps are being taken to develop the Early Childhood Advisory Council, better known as ECAC. And that concludes that report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Ahmed. Faculty and Programs, Trustee Velez.
The Faculty and Programs Committee met on March 19, 2024 at 6 p.m. In attendance were Dr. Vespignani, Ms. Triglia, President Martinez, Trustee Kraft, Trustee Rodriguez, myself, and Trustee Orr. At this meeting, we discussed the before and after care program. An RFP has been requested to seek organizations that offer enrichment programs. Central Office has provided 2024-2025 district calendar, which is a more user-friendly format. This calendar has been shared with the teachers union and Little Ferry administration to coordinate dates. In regards to the dance vacancy, alternative ways were discussed to meet elementary school standards. There was a discussion about music and art instruction at the elementary schools. It is not uncommon to have art on a cart. Unfortunately, it is a reality due to the lack of space. Our district schools are undergoing learning walks in which supervisors, consultants, and building principals will observe instructions informally. Ms. Triglia gave us an update on the high-impact tutoring program. Students who scored in the approaching expectation levels in NJSLA are being recommended for after-school tutoring. For example, teachers have received training on data analysis to target particular areas of concern. In addition, we have partnered with Magnesium, which has locations in Inglewood, Teaneck, and Hackensack for about 30 students twice a week. Initial letters have gone out to parents of students who qualify. Parents must respond if they are interested in participating, as they are responsible for transporting their students. As families decline, we can send new letters to invite other students. CTE exploration update, the new supervisor of art and music business has started a few weeks ago. This is a K-12 position at the high school. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, and this concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Velez. Excellent report. Finance and Insurance, Trustee McNeil.
Finance and Insurance has not met since the last meeting. Our next meeting is on the 8th of April.
Thank you. Negotiations, Trustee McNeil.
Me again. The Negotiations Committee has met. We've been very active. Dr. V, Mr. Bisick, Mr. Disler, Dr. Martinez, Trustees Velez and Phytros and myself all met on March 25th with representatives from the Administrators Association. We are actively working with them and making very good progress there. I'm happy to report. The supervisors contract is also coming up this year. They've reached out to us and we have a meeting scheduled with them on April 8th to start that negotiation.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to the Superintendent's report.
Great. Thank you, President Martinez, and good evening to our community members, both in person and at home. I'm pleased to start my report by welcoming our student liaison, Olivia, for her report.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Olivia Locarno. I'm the student body vice president, and I'm going to give you an update on some of the activities that have taken place at the high school in the past month. So to start, for the second year, the Harlem Wizards came to Richfield Park for a fundraiser that supported the seniors project graduation. This fundraiser was brought together by our Project Grad Parent Committee. This was held on March 13th in the school's gym. Teachers from each school represented the RP team. It was really fun and an interactive night for all of our RP community, especially the children who came from all the different elementary schools to come and watch. The Key Club hosted a Pie a Teacher fundraiser on Pie Day, March 14th. Students lined up to throw pies at their favorite teachers. This took place in the cafeteria directly after school, and all enjoyed the fundraiser, from the pie throwers to the spectators, and hopefully to the teachers as well. And just last night, the student government hosted their annual volleyball tournament, With over 15 teams participating in packed stands, students played for bragging rights of first place. This was a successful fundraiser and all students involved had a great time. On Friday, March 8th, RPHS hosted its first debate competition in years. Participating high schools included Bergen County Academies, Beckton, Westwood, and Bergen Tech. Throughout the day, our student government members and Scarlet ambassadors guided students to different classrooms where their debate matches would take place. The debate sparked interest among our students, and there was even students who had work release ninth period who stayed around for the championship just to watch, and I think that's great. And I think it sparked interest for students to join our debate team next year. And last but not least, from March 7th through the 9th, the RPHS Theater Program performed their well-awaited annual spring musical. This year, they performed Chicago Teen Edition after rehearsing for close to 3 months. Rehearsals took place after school in the Maid Auditorium, Tuesday through Friday, and Saturday morning dance rehearsals also occurred in the auditorium or the aux gym, thanks to the newly added mirrored walls in there. Tickets were $8 for students and senior citizens and $12 for adults. The cast and crew blew away the crowd and all 3 nights, and many said it was the best show performed in recent years. Personally, as someone who is involved in that, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and everyone involved in allowing this program and these shows to come to life. The arts are so, so important, and these shows just prove that. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Olivia, for your report and for joining us this evening. In terms of the agenda under superintendent's report for the HIB statement, I respectfully submit the HIB report that was presented to the board in executive session. And I'm pleased to share some school news as reported by our building principals. In our K-6 schools at the elementary level, they had Read Across America Week. It was a hit with theme days, activities, and many guest speakers. I had the opportunity to be a guest speaker at Roosevelt, and it was a really wonderful day. So I thank them for the invitation, and I was able to get out to some of the other schools as well. Coaches for our 6th to 8th grade teams had visited to promote their programs for baseball, softball, and track and field. The Lincoln PTA had a successful Tricky Tray event at the Knights of Columbus, raising $23,000. Kudos to 6th grade student at Lincoln, Kyra Martinez, who memorized and repeated all of the digits of pi for Pi Day on March 14th. I had the pleasure of meeting with Kyra, and it was really an incredible feat. And Roosevelt students have completed Black History projects and have been working on women's history projects as they came into March. And our Grant School, the 6th grade Wax Museum was a successful event where students dressed up as a person in history and provided a presentation on their life and accomplishments. At our junior senior high school, the Ridgefield Park and Little Ferry Police Departments co-sponsored an assembly for 11th and 12th graders entitled Hang Up and Drive. It's a personal story shared of the dangers of distracted driving, imploring everyone to think twice before engaging with their phones while driving. And recently, this past Monday, the Multidisciplinary Honor Society induction was held to formally induct new members of the Academic Honor Societies. So congratulations again to those students and their families. As mentioned by Trustee Velez, as reported in faculty and program, the district calendar appears on this evening agenda for the 24-25 school year. As noted, it is a new user-friendly design, which I hope will facilitate that for our families and community. And there were many layers of collaboration, including a review not only from the committee, but from our building principals, the RPEA leadership, and of course, networking with the superintendent of Little Ferry. And what we've been able to accomplish is to have common professional development days so that we can begin to engage with Little Ferry staff members in terms of professional development. Notably, one change on the calendar to launch the school year in September. Again, we will have 2 full days of staff PD. And the first day for students will be on September 5th. But the 5th and 6th for the upcoming school year will be half days for students, and staff will participate in professional development. This is notable because we wanted to ensure that our valued staff members are provided ample opportunities for professional development to begin the school year. And we have some other days allotted, of course, throughout the calendar. And also on the calendar, we see noted the back to school nights and parent conferences. This is a change from the previous year where these were historically recommended to the board by way of a resolution. Here, we've clearly outlined them so that families in our community can begin to plan accordingly, as well as our staff members. The pre-K interest survey closes on March 31st. Tomorrow, we're meeting internally to begin to prepare, and the formal registration for our pre-K program should be opening in April. And lastly, the Home and School Connection Committee will be meeting soon to plan our third and final Parent and Guardian Academy event. So more on that, and be sure to stay tuned for that information. And that concludes my superintendent's report. Thank you, President Martinez.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vespignani. State Monitor's report, Mr. Egan.
Yes, good evening. All my comments are basically all positive. I worked with the superintendent and his committee, his staff, his group, and we're working very well together, and everything is going well. There, I review the tonight's agenda. I fully support all motions there. In addition to that, just a reminder that next month in April, the district auditors, the firm of Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss will be here to report and to the board and the public the results of their audit previously for the 22-23 school year. Just a highlight to it is that everything is good. There's some no major fines. All the money's there, and not only is it there, there's additional monies that are going into appropriated to the capital reserve accounts to fix our buildings and to repair our buildings. There are a number of projects that'll be within the next month. We'll be working on to outline to present to the board. There's money coming from our reserve accounts, but there's also money coming from the state to support capital improvements. This is an old school district, and I'm sure you're all aware of it, that there are repairs that have to be done more so than if it was a new building. And we're addressing to do that. In addition, the early childhood program is still moving forward. There will be, well, we're working on it. They have at least 5 or 6 early childhood new classes moving forward. That's not finalized yet, but we're working on that. That's basically my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Mr. Bison, can you please read in the walk-in resolution?
Yes, it'll be under new business, item number 1. Resolve that the Ridgefield Park Board of Education, upon a recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, accepts the letter of resignation from Mr. James, excuse me if I don't pronounce it right, Mazzarisi, a physical education teacher in the Ridgefield Park Public School District, effective June 30th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Bison. We'll now listen to citizens' comments on agenda. Ms. Malou? You're up.
Janet Malul, 163 East Grand. I have several questions. First, I guess, being too close to it, I guess. The high impact tutoring grant. Does the grant cover the cost of the entire program? Yes, good. And this is after school or during the day? Was one of my questions. Another one being, I'm wondering what the student to teacher ratio is in it and how many days a week it's meeting. And my curiosity is really because I'm actually working with a sixth grader in Hackensack, and they have a program like this running, but it's during the day. They've taken one of the elective slots, and that's where they're doing it. My other question is the calendar. I don't see any days built in, unless I'm missing something, for emergencies, except for the comment at the bottom that makeup days would be during the spring break, starting with April 25th. Okay, that's really right ahead of your, in other words, with that vacation then, what happens if people made plans to go away? Are they forced to cancel them? I worked in a district where we ended up losing the entire April break. And it was horrendous as far as getting through the last of the year. Staff was burnt out, kids were burnt out. They really needed that break. The other question I have is, I don't really understand, I never understood why we started on a Thursday, even when my daughter went here. A lot of districts that I know of will have started on a Wednesday. But why the 2 half days to start? To me, educationally sound would be get the kids back in school, get them going. That first few weeks, getting them back in sync, you keep interrupting with this day, that day, half days. To me, that first week is a non-school week, because what are you accomplishing outside of making sure their schedules are right those 2 days? Nothing. I counted, you have 68 days for the first half of the year. I can't help but wonder if that's part of the problem, why some of our students are, like, they seem to be behind at this point. And the need for, you have early testing. So taking the days up front, to me, has a more impact on their education than if you take the days later on in the year. Just a comment. Next, it's a contract, 12.20, I guess it is, maintenance reserve withdrawal. Is there a cap on that? And the other question or comment I'm going to make is, so are we 300,000 over budget? Or is that just what it's costing us already in a short period of time? And let me see if I had anything else on here. I think that's it for now. But I would really, I'm looking at that calendar and I'm as a teacher, I'm like, oh my God, we'll never get these kids going. September is just going to be actually trying to get them acclimated back to school. And that's a lot of time to lose. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malou. Do you want? Have your name and address, please?
Sure. Good evening, Aniuska Gutierrez, 75 Christie Street. So I have a question
I'm sorry,
regarding.
could you repeat that? I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What, my address?
Your name and address, yeah.
Aniuska Gutierrez, 75 Christie Street. I have a question regarding the therapy source, the social worker. Who is this of servicing for $25,000 for 3 months?
Is it just me, but I can't hear you?
It's
think
the
it's
therapy
speaking.
source, resolution 12.13.
Mhm.
Who is it servicing for $25,000 for 3 months? Is it multiple students? Is it special needs? Is it anybody? And also, I have a question. My daughter goes to Bergen Tech part-time, and she wasn't picked up this week, 1 day a week. I had a call here to get her picked up. And my other question is, I'm having an issue with them. I don't know what kind of agreement is between the school, which is our district, and Bergen Tech, because they're giving me a very hard time regarding her absences, because they count her as an absence if the school here is closed, but they're open. So their suggestion was for me to try to get her there, which is fine, but then I cannot pick her up because I'm at work. And they're not allowed to take an Uber back home. So I don't know what to do. So therefore, my daughter will not be attending Bergen Tech next year because there's a conflict here. You offer the program for my daughter to take, which is a great program, but there's zero communication between the two schools, and it's a shame. So maybe when we looked for programs that we want to offer our students, we need to look into what we can we do and provide for them. Because she missed out on a bunch of classes and AP classes here because they couldn't get her schedule together freshman year. So now she's a sophomore and she will not be going there junior and senior year. And it's a shame. And also the only one that helped me with that situation, I just want to make it clear, was Mr. Comeri. Because I called the guidance counselor, no answer before the freshman year started. And I actually called Mr. Comeri and he helped me within 10 minutes and fix her classes. So I have a lot of issues with the communication, with guidance counselor, with the teachers. It's just, I don't understand how, I wouldn't have enrolled her in that program if I knew that now my daughter has to go during her spring break, which don't match, to Bergen Tech at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and stay there 3 hours to make up the hours that she missed. And now she's gonna have 5 more absences when we have our spring break, because we don't have the same break. So it's a lot. So I'm just saying it, so for parents in 8th grade students that they're thinking about going to Bergen Tech, do a little more research because it's not a great situation for part-time. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you to email the superintendent specifically about that. I'm going to ask you to email the superintendent specifically about that, because if you're in that situation, there are probably other kids that are in the same situation as well. Yeah, thank you. Do we have anybody to elevate? I believe you're muted, Evelise.
Yes, I from the agenda. My name is Ivelisse Betance. I'm at 79 Brinkerhoff. And I would like more collaboration on the aftercare program, that they would like to add more enrichment programs to it. Would it be more cost to the parents? That's my question.
Thank you. We're
And-
going to answer your questions after. Next question.
And then my next question is communication. I sent an email to someone in the superintendent and I was never responded to it. And that's very concerning when I'm reaching out my concern from my last meeting that I went about the educational, especially to do with mathematics. And it was never responding. 3 weeks have gone by and the person has not communicated back with me. And those are my two questions that I have.
Okay. Can I ask you to call the board office instead of emailing, just in case the email you got was wrong? Thank you.
No, I have the email because we was emailing back and forth, but when I sent an email responding back to her, that it was never responded back to me.
Okay, so then
And
just include the superintendent on your next reply. Just include the superintendent.
all right, I will do that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Oh,
Yes, hi, my name is Yanilda Mora, 199 Bergen Turnpike. I would like to know what's gonna happen with the before and after care.
can you repeat your address again, please?
199 Bergen Turnpike.
Okay, we'll address that. Have any other
Thank you.
questions?
No, that's all, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to close public, well, those comments and allow you to respond.
Thank you, President Martinez. Happy to respond to some questions that I can have not. We'll certainly follow up. In regard to the calendar, there are 2 emergency days built in, just as there was this previous year. And obviously, it's not ideal to take back from spring break. The problem in a district that has a high school is that when you set graduation and then there are other items that are set along with that, such as project graduation, you're unable to move the date at the end of the year. So the days would have to come from somewhere if in fact you have to take back days, and April break would be that one. Hopefully we don't cross that bridge, but that is typical, not just of Richfield Park, but also other districts. And in terms of the first 2 days for students, yes, they are half days. And the reason why is so we can further provide professional development for staff to have a successful school year. In terms of therapy source, 1213, this is to provide at-risk students at the elementary school. So it's as needed and open for our elementary school age students. Going back to the question pertaining to 1220 and the maintenance reserve, no, there is not a cap. That money has been requested to be utilized for various projects. Examples of that would be, for example, when I first arrived in July and started to do walkthroughs with our building principals. Notably, there were many flooring issues that we needed to address. So we're currently utilizing, as an example, the maintenance reserve to go to repair those flooring issues. In terms of we had 2 questions in regard to the before and after care program. So to be clear, the response for proposal that appears on this agenda is just that. It's requesting proposals. The district, the board is not obligated to move forward with any of those. The idea here is to canvass organizations who provide a level of enrichment. Examples of enrichment would be, but not limited to, a period of dance, yoga, STEM, robotics, character education. Various organizations provide different menu options that students may be able to participate in. In terms of the cost, that's something that would be determined through the RFP process and certainly evaluated. There are opportunities for subsidized cost for families, so that's certainly something that we'll be looking into. In regard to the high impact tutoring program, I'd like to have our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Triglia, respond just to some of those specific questions. She's done a really excellent job in pulling together this program in a short amount of time, and I'd like her to have the opportunity to share some of the great details about this program.
Thank you for that, and thank you for your questions. We were very fortunate to be awarded the High Impact Tutoring Grant. The district, I don't know the total sum off the top of my head right now. I think it was $152,000. The program is completely covered through this grant. Teachers' stipends are covered through the grant. The students who are chosen to Mathnasium, it's no cost to the parents. That's covered through the grant. It takes place after school, Monday through Thursday. Third and fourth grade is Monday and Wednesday. Fifth and sixth grade and seventh and eighth grade runs Monday through Thursday. Fifth and sixth grade runs Tuesday and Thursday. The program runs for 45 minutes. The students that were chosen were students who performed in a certain level on the NJSLA. And they meet in each content area once a week for 45 minutes. The students who were chosen to go to Mathnasium met a different criteria, and they're able to work out their schedule directly with the Mathnasium group. They can call, we just got those permission slips back recently, so they can get in touch with the person, the rep at Mathnasium, to set up their schedule as needed. I think they're open Monday through Thursday until 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 1 to 5, I believe it is, or something like that. So there's flexibility as there as well. The teacher ratio for in-district after school, we have 1 teacher, max 5 students. We try to keep it as small as we can. And that's in grades 3 through 8 as well.
Thank you, Ms. Triglia.
Thank you. And I want to encourage parents to not wait for the board meeting to get answers to their questions. All of our emails are up on the website. And if you don't get an answer from your teacher or your principal or the superintendent, go to the board president or call the board directly. Thank you. We will now officially close public comment period. We'll move to moving our agenda items. Trustee Orth, can you please move policy 9.01?
I move 9.01.
Second.
Diane, one second. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, can I have a roll call?
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Malul,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Trustee Velez, can you please move faculty and programs?
I so move 10.01 to 10.05.
Second.
Diane, one second. Do you have any questions or comments from the board on faculty and programs? Seeing none, can I please have a roll call?
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Malul, Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes to all except 10.012402.
noted. Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, the resolutions pass. Trustee Cooney, can you, oh, sorry, you're off the hook right now. Trustee McNeil, please move finance and insurance.
Sure. I'd like to move resolutions 12.01 through 12.28.
Second.
Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Malul,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, resolution passes. The resolutions pass. Trustee Velez, can you please move consent agenda?
Sure. I so move 1301 to 1303.
Second.
Any questions or comments on consent agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call.
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Malul,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, and the resolutions pass. Trustee Cooney, would you please move personnel?
Yes, resolution 14.01 through 14.17, I so move.
I second.
Any questions or comments from the board? I guess I'll start. I do have a comment. I'd like to thank teacher assistants, Ms. Petrella, Ms. Puentes Gutierrez, Secretary Ms. Nelson, and longtime teacher Ms. Lumusio for their individual and collective years of service to the children of Richfield Park. Enjoy retirement or what I hope are great opportunities at the next district that you serve.
Congratulations.
Can I please have a roll call?
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Malul,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, the resolution passes. Resolutions pass. Trustee Orth, can you please move new business?
I so move, new business 01.
Second.
Please have a roll call.
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros,
Yeah.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Malul,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Mr. Malula, there's a little bit of lack of clarity on our side. Can you please move the January 17th, 2024 minutes again? We'll do it again?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 17th, 2024.
Thank you. We have a second?
Second.
We have a roll call.
Mr. Cooney,
Yes.
Mr. Phytros,
Yes.
Ms. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Malul,
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Velez,
Yes.
Ms. Orth,
Yes.
President Martinez.
Yes, and the minutes pass for real this time. Okay. We're gonna now move on to citizens' comments off agenda. And again, I would ask that we keep to the generous 5-minute limit and respect the board's attempt to be thoughtful in answering all your questions. Ms. Malul?
Janet Balul, 163 East Grand. Well, now after I kind of questioned a lot of what you do, some compliments. The artwork, the sketchwork, right up here when I walked in was phenomenal. The high school play was wonderful. And What many of you don't know is the Richfield Park Arts Association sponsored a program, I guess in honor of National Women's Month, where we partnered with the Girl Scouts, the Richfield Park Girl Scouts. And we had Olivia singing with Chloe. We had Juliana and Vanessa Marin doing a duo together. It was a cabaret, so to speak. And we actually, we had 12 Girl Scouts starting from Daisies, who all attend your schools, doing 2 songs towards the end. And the people that were doing the program itself are all, I would call them professional to semi-professionals. They do this program in New York City. The musical director is actually internationally known, and we were able to hold it at the Civic Center. And it was a phenomenal fundraiser for them, and I certainly thank Olivia and Chloe for participating in that. So the talent continues. Even, the kids that come here are participating in things in the town through a lot of other avenues. And we also have our student intern is a high school student here who's phenomenal. And so just on the flip side, the talent definitely goes beyond the academics here. But your arts and your music is just blowing us away. So our technical assistant, who is actually also, I believe, a student that attends still here. So kudos to the kids that participated. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And we want to release our student representative. And if there's any way we can give her some extra credit for keeping her longer. But thank you very much for your report. I don't have the power to give you the extra credit, but I can suggest it. Do we have anybody to elevate? Nope. Okay, I do want to thank, there's parents here who came just to attend and just to pay attention to how their tax dollars are being spent and how people are crafting their kids' education. And we do appreciate you here and online. And we do appreciate the 40 or 50 people who watch this at their leisure, I guess, on YouTube when it's posted. So thank you to all. May I please have a motion to close the meeting?
I move we adjourn.
I second.
I'm assuming all are in favor. Have a good night, everybody.